Hi guys, today we are going to talk about pendulums. So pendulums are, just as you can see in this picture, it's something that oscillates back and forth. It's going to have a harmonic motion. Hopefully you'll see the graph that it's making underneath is a sine or cosine graph if you just rotate it. And that's really where we're going to jump into this unit. So the first thing we really need to dive into is what is a period? We've used this term a little bit. Period's the amount of time it takes to complete one cycle. We're going to use a capital T for this because it's slightly different than time, even though it still is a time. Time is just like that, how much time has passed. But when we're talking period, we want the whole cycle. So we're going to use a capital T for this. We're going to typically measure period in seconds. Now, frequency is how often something happens in a given amount of time. So like if I think about my coffee addiction. How frequently do I go to Bread Cove for coffee? I go every day, so my frequency is once per day, or that would be the frequency and amount of time. However, we're going to use the unit hertz for this. So I've got some examples for frequency and period. A species of hummingbird beats its wings 3,300 times per minute. So we want to start by doing what is the frequency of the hummingbird's wings. Now, again, we're going to get into seconds, but the frequency would be the number of occurrences over the time we have. So I'm going to make myself smaller here real quick. There we go. So my number of occurrences, it's going to beat 3,300 times per minute, but instead of minutes, we're going to use seconds per 60 seconds. So the frequency for my hummingbird's wings is going to be 3,300 divided by 60, which gives it a 55, and my unit would be hertz. Oh, goodness, Kara, let's move your face here. My face is in the way. Well, I can't move my face. I'm just going to make my hertz down here. Hertz. 55 hertz. So that's how we're going to calculate frequency. Frequency is the number of occurrences over the time. Now, there's also another way we can use frequency. It's in this equation up here, which is period is 1 divided by my frequency. So if I want to figure out what the period of my hummingbird's wing is, it's 1 divided by my frequency, which I'm going to take 1 over that frequency we just calculated of 55. 1 divided by 55. This gives me a period of 0.018 seconds. So that means every 0.018 seconds, the wing is flapping, which is really, really fast. All right, let's continue on and actually apply this to something else. So pendulums, as you saw in the video, a pendulum is kind of like, make a real quick pendulum. I'm going to pause and make a pendulum real quick. Okay, I'm back with the pendulum. So you can see a pendulum is anything that has like a mass on the end and a string. And I'm going to pull it back and I can swing it back and forth and back and forth. There's a mass on the bottom, string. Now I want to look at this equation specifically. So if we look into the pendulum equation, which is right here up top, you can see we've got period. We've got 2 pi. We've got an L. This is the length of the string. And then we've got G. This is the gravitational field strength. I'm just going to say gravity just because I don't have a lot of space. So really what it comes down to there is no mass in our pendulum equation. So if we're going to look into each of these things, I really want to say, okay, what's going to happen if, so we've got a mass of a string of unknown length that oscillates as a pendulum. So let's say you don't know the length of this. We've got a pendulum. It's going back and forth. And it has a period of 4 seconds. Now, we want to do what will happen to the period if the mass is doubled. Now, I want to go back into the equation. Is there mass in the equation? No. So if the mass is doubled, nothing will happen to our period of our pendulum. So if I were to double this mass and fill this thing and make it a lead, this is like a little foam ball. If I were to fill this with lead, it would still oscillate at the exact same period. It'd take the same amount of time to go back and forth. Now let's look at the string length. So we don't know the length of our string right here, but I do know in my original situation, I've got T equals 2 pi square root of L over G. Now in this new situation, if I take T equals 2 pi square root of 2L over G, What's going to happen to my period? Well, it's going to be the square root of 2 times longer than my original period. Because if I added a square root of 2 on one side, I'd have to do it to the same to the other side. So this difference would be square root of 2. So it would be a larger period because we had a longer string. So you can see that right here. I have a short string. I'm just going to show you visually. Short string. You can see it's swinging back and forth pretty quickly. If I lengthen my string, it takes a lot longer to go back and forth when I do that. Now let's see if our string length is halved. So going back to our original equation, we've got the original equation of our original setup of square root of L over G. And if I half that string length, 2, and I can say square root of L over 2 times G. That means my original, I'd have to do square root of 1/2 T. Now that's going to be a smaller number because the square root of 1/2 T is definitely going to be a decimal place. And then finally, the question is if the amplitude is doubled. Amplitude is how high up I bring it. So if I were to bring it up to here versus up to here. Now you might be like, Ms. Schulte, of course it's going to take longer. But actually the answer here is nothing happens. Because if I bring it up higher, it's going to have more gravitational energy going into it, which just means it's going to be moving faster at the bottom. So if I double my amplitude, nothing actually happens to the period. It moves faster, but it also has a longer distance to cover. So since it has to move faster with a longer distance to cover, they kind of balance themselves out. Now I want to actually dive into, instead of just doing the square root of t's, 2t, square root of 1/2 t, I want to actually prove this to you guys. So I'm going to clear this and do the calculations for B and C here to prove it to you. Now, it gives me a period of 4 seconds. So I can actually calculate what the string length of my actual thing is. Now, you have to be careful here with our algebra. The first thing you got to do is get that 2 pi to the other side. So 4 divided by 2 pi equals the square root of L over 9.8. So I'm just going to do each step as I go. 4 divided by 2 pi. If I can type it into my calculator correctly. This gives me 0.637 well, square root of L over 9.8. Now to undo that, I have to square this because we have to square each side. So square, square, that gets 0.405 L over 9.8. And then we just have to multiply each side by 9.8. So if I had a period I wanted to come up with, and I needed to know what string length I wanted to make that period, I could do this. This is 3.97 meters. That's my original length of my string. So L equals 3.97 meters. So what I want to do, I'm going to erase some of my work. I'm going to clear everything. How do I erase everything? So I want to use this 3.97 and say, okay, if I double this, what's actually going to happen to my period? And then we can say if we half it, because we know this one, our original answer, we said that this one was going to be square root of 2t, and we said this one's going to be square root of 1/2 t. So let's actually double check that. So I'm going to double this. So if my string length is doubled, L is going to be 7.94 meters now. I'm going to plug this into my equation. T equals, forgot my equal sign, 2 pi square root of 7.94 over 9.8. And I'm going to plug that into my calculator. This gives me 5.66 seconds. Square root of 2 times 4 is 5.66 seconds. So I could technically approach this either way. I would know that basically if the string length increases, the period increases. So let's check this other one. I'm going to take this 3.97 divided by 2. So my length for this bottom one was 1.985. I'm going to say 99. So T equals 2 pi square root of 1.99 over 9.8. This gives me gotta type it into my calculator. There we go. This gives me a period of 2.83 seconds. Remember, we said it was going to be the square root of 1/2 times t, which is 4. Let me just change that to a 4. There we go. So the square root of 1/2 times 4 is 2.83 seconds. So I really wanted to show you guys with this example that we can do it without actually doing the math. Or if you had a problem like this, you can do it with the math. Either one's completely fine. All right, one last example for this video. The acceleration due to gravity on the moon is 1.62 meters per second squared. What is the length of a pendulum whose period on the moon matches the period of a 2-meter long pendulum on Earth? So this is a two-part problem. First, we got to figure out what is our period on Earth. Then we got to take that period to the moon and then figure out the length on the moon. So if we've got length as 2 meters, remember G on Earth is 9.8. 9.8 is not everywhere, but on Earth it is there. So our period is going to be 2 pi square root of 2 over 9.8. So when I plug that into my calculator, and I'd really encourage you guys to practice plugging this into your calculator, because if you're going to make a mistake in this part of the unit, it's going to be the actual plugging into the calculator. It's not going to be the like the math part, like the physics part. Oh, not meters. Ooh. 1 second. Miss Schulte can't write her units correctly today. 2.84 seconds. So that's my period. Now we're going to take this pendulum to the moon, and we know that we want to have 2 pi L over G. We're looking for the length that it needs to be on the moon. So 2.84 equals 2 pi square root of L over 1.62. Now I want you to stop and think to yourself real quick. Before we go into this math, if I needed to move the same time, it needs the same amount of time to make a thing on the moon as the Earth, do you think my length would be larger or smaller? So pause, think to yourself real quick. We're going to math it out and see if you are correct. All right, hopefully you paused. Let's math it out. So I'm going to we want to start by dividing each side by 2 pi. This would give us square root of L over 1.62. So 2.84 divided by 2 pi. Make sure you're watching. If you just plug that straight into your calculator, it might give you a different answer than this. I put parentheses around my denominator. So you get 0.45 equals square root of L over 1.62. You need to square both sides to undo that square root. Square, square. This gives you 0.204 equals L over 1.62. I'm running out of space. And then I'm going to multiply each side by 1.62. So my length is 0.33 meters. All right. Ask yourself, did you get it correct? Did you think it would have to be longer or shorter? All right. That's it for pendulums. Big thing, make sure you have this equation written down somewhere, and make sure you also have that period equals 1 over frequency, or you could flip it, frequency equals 1 over period equation written down. Cool. Let me know if you have questions.